Hi, I'm Lindsay Stevens, and this is the Poetry and Yarn podcast, episode number 5. You can catch up on podcasts from previous episodes as well as be alerted about the newest ones if you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss out. Then you can hop on over to the website poetryindyarn.com to see the show notes for each episode that has links to the different things I talk about. So it's been 2 weeks and I've missed you guys. My excuse for last Sunday was complete and utter exhaustion. I went to a trade show recently, the National Needle Arts Association trade show, which is everything crochet, knit, spinning, weaving that you could imagine. And it was super fantastic, but I came back exhausted and to my family who is like sick. Like, we've got the whole germs being spread throughout, Everybody's back on the mend now. Things are good. Life's definitely looking up. I've got a lasagna in the oven. Yes. And I've been spending the past week doing some crocheting. I've been using this yummy Rowan wool 4-ply. It's actually my first time working with it, and I've been really pleasantly happy with it. It's nice, it's soft, it's good quality. Like I haven't had to deal with any knots in the ball or parts where the yarn wasn't spun completely. You'll see that sometimes in yarn and it's always like a pain, like really? But no, this stuff has been like consistently solid and I'm very happy with it. And that's what the label looks like, which I have actually taken off because I've been going at it. Also had some awesome mail. So a knitwear designer I know, Mercedes Knits, did these awesome watercolor drawings of sheep in psychedelic colors. And I ordered one. This is a card I ordered of her psychedelic sheep from mercedesknits.redbubble.com. And this is totally going to be artwork on my wall. I'm planning on just going to frame it and put it there so I can be like, oh, happy, like, look, it's a pink and purple sheep. Maybe this is how they really get the variegated yarn. It could happen. So yeah, she's got this one in pink and purple. She has another design that she did the same style of sheep, but with blues and greens. It's beautiful, and I highly recommend you check it out. If you need a coffee mug, you could have a fancy sheep coffee mug. I have an issue with coffee mugs. I have many of them, and I'm kind of running out of shelf space. But yeah, so both those have made me happy. Good yarn to play with, good crochet, and good happy extras. So one of the things I've been looking over is my reviewer's copy of Colorwork Knitting by Sarah White. I actually had the chance to meet her briefly at the trade show that I went to, and that was really nice. This book has a lot of good information in it, and so I'm going to have a complete written review up on my blog this upcoming Wednesday, June 17th. So hop on over because not only will you get to read like the full review and see tons and tons of pictures, but I'm actually going to be giving away my copy. I'm parting with it because I think it's awesome enough that other people should get the chance to experience it too. So, yeah, hop on over, read the review, enter for your chance to win. There's so many different ways to deal with color in knitting, and I love that she kind of like has projects that run the gamut from self-striping yarn that does it all on its own to like how you work stranded knitting, which can be a bit technically more complex. I must say my favorite project she has for self-striping yarn is this beret. Is that not gorgeous looking? So that's just so pretty in my opinion, and actually like I'd be tempted to make that for myself. when I have some spare time, right? Yeah, right now I've kind of got my projects booked out through August, and then I'm like, in August, at the end of August, all the knitting will be for me, and all the crochet will be for me. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. She's got some great info in here also on jogless stripes. So if you ever try to knit stripes, going in the round, you can get this kind of color jog that doesn't look pretty. I discovered this the first time I tried knitting stripes in the round, which when I was trying to do a Ravenclaw scarf before the last Harry Potter movie came out. I got halfway through the scarf before the premiere of the film. And so, I was going around in blue because I was doing Ravenclaw, then going around silver, then going around in blue, then going around silver. And I was kind of getting the little, transition from one color to the other wasn't clean and smooth looking, which may be part of why I've put that project aside for 2 to 3 years now, maybe. But yeah, if you know how to do a jogless, you don't have to put it aside for 3 years because it'll look pretty from the start. Yeah, so she covers stranded knitting, but she also has a lovely section on slip stitch knitting, which I don't think slip stitch knitting gets as much credit as it should. Basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's a way of doing color work, but you're never using more than one color in a row. So she has this beautiful project in slip stitch knitting. Isn't that a pretty pullover? And it looks so incredibly complex. Like you think like, wow, she must have like all these colors going at one time and be like, Zen Master Yoda with the yarn. No, it's slip stitch knitting and any of us can do it. And it really is possible. One of my favorite slip stitch projects that I have going on right now is this blanket. It's a center out blanket that I got the yarn for at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival a couple of years ago, and I've been working on it slowly. This stitch pattern looks complex. This is all slip stitch knitting. All I'm having to do here is knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip. This is the epitome of like watching television knitting. I can do this, I can watch TV, and I can actually follow the plot line in the TV show. So if you haven't tried slip stitch knitting, I really recommend you do, because I think you're going to find that you get really beautiful, complex results without a lot of technical work on your part. There's some techniques that you find like you really have to focus on your hand placement, your finger placement, and like with stranded knitting, when do I catch the first color? When do I catch the second color? Slip stitch knitting, none of that applies. Knit one, slip one. Knit one, slip one. Sometimes it's knit two, slip one. But it really is that easy. And yeah, the look you get for the amount of work you put in is just amazing. So I'm not knocking stranded knitting, and I'm not knocking intarsia, because they both have their place. But if you haven't tried mosaic knitting is another word or another phrase that's commonly used to describe certain slip stitch knitting, then definitely check it out. Go on Ravelry, pick up the book, and just take a pattern, start and run with it, and I think you'll really enjoy it and you'll really like it. So yeah, stop in on the blog on Wednesday, June 17th, or for a week after, so you can enter to win a copy of the book. In the meantime, if you have something you'd like to hear me talk about on the video blog, if you have questions, thoughts, shoot me an email at support@poetryandyarn.com. That's SUPPORT@poetryandyarn.com. But until then, I'll see you next week.